The anime begins with a classroom, where a professor is furiously scolding a boy named Yamada for being late in class. Meanwhile, Shiraishi comes and hands a journal to the professor, at which he appreciates her moral conduct and good grades. Yamada gets furious and hates Shiraishi for being the perfect one. He leaves the class in a rebellious way and sees Shiraishi near the stairs. He follows her to the stairs and mockingly laughs at her. But at the instant, he slipped and fell on Shiraishi and both trembled down the stairs. In the next scene, Yamada finds himself in a room, where he notices changes in his body. His body changes into Shiraishi's. On the other hand, Shiraishi's body transformed into Yamada's. He runs towards the classroom, where Shiraishi was already present in his attire. Everybody at the school was surprised to see Yamada studying, but they did not know it was Shiraishi in the body of Yamada. Yamada pulls Shiraishi from the class and brings her to the rooftop. He was furious and talks about the situation angrily. On the other hand, Shiraishi was calm, but she also wants to change to the original. She suggests that if they did the same, they would probably switch to the original again. Yamada asks to move to the stairs, but Shiraishi was conditioned to wait till school ended, because she did not want to miss the classes anymore. Yamada has to accept her terms because he is responsible for all this. Well, he agrees to wait till off time and decides to enjoy his new attire. He rushed to the girls' bathroom and makes weird voices, and everyone gazes at him. The scene switches to Yamada lying under a tree, where Sasaki, a classmate, reaches and gave him Shiraishi's lunchbox. But she used to threaten and mess with Shiraishi, so this time she does the same. Yamada understands why Shiraishi was always alone and sad in school. As a result, she forbade him to do anything. Yamada wants to take revenge for all this, but Shiraishi stops him. Once again, Sasaki teases Yamada. He gets furious and is about to punch her, but Shiraishi comes. He misjudges the distance between Sasaki and Shiraishi and pounds hard. In the next scene, they try again and switch their bodies into real. But they fall from the stairs again and again, so this time nothing happens. Shiraishi says that we should kiss each other because when we fell you kissed me. Yamada gets surprised and resists, but Shiraishi kisses at last and their bodies switches to original. In the meantime, a schoolboy from the student council sees all this. The next scene jumps to Yamada, who switches his body to take supplementary exams. Shiraishi agrees and they changes. He was eating burgers under a tree and Shiraishi was doing his exams. Meanwhile, Miyamura comes and asks for the date which was already promised between Shiraishi and Miyamura. Yamada gets confused but still agreed, and they moves to their date. In between, 3 mischievous boys appears and starts flirting with Yamada. He gets furious and kicked them hard. They run and Miyamura tells Yamada that there was never a promise for the date. I was checking on you and now I am sure you are Yamada. In the next scene, Shiraishi enters and sees their truth has been exposed to Miyamura. He offers them a room to switch their bodies whenever needed. It was the room for the supernatural student club which was abolished, but Miyamura wants it to resume. He verifies the power of switching bodies by kissing Yamada, and proves that it is Yamada who possesses the power of changing bodies with anyone. Yamada firstly opposes to kissing Miyamura, but Shiraishi asks to verify, so he agrees and their bodies exchanges. In reality, Miyamura advises to bring a girl to verify further, but Shiraishi stops and asks to keep it a secret between the 3 of them. Suddenly a knock is heard and San approaches to join the club. She shows some of her useless collection of supernatural things. On his way back to the club room, Yamada sees his name on the list of students who has to perform supplementary exams this year. He requests Shiraishi to switch bodies and clear the supplementary exams for him. She agrees and they try to kiss, but San always comes up with a new chore for Yamada. He gets so frustrated that he asks to expel her from the group. Miyamura says that we could not remove her without any reason. Hence, he sent her to the council office for the new members' registration and she went away. In the next scene, Shiraishi and Yamada are about to kiss, but San comes and shouts at the top of her voice. She thinks they are not interested in research for the supernatural club, but only wants to spend time with each other. She leaves furious and threatens them to pay for hurting her feelings. The following day, Yamada reaches school and sees a crowd. He finds the school covered with flyers. It says that Yamada and Shiraishi were kissing, and the whole school laughs at them. It was all San's doing. She did this because they trampled her feelings for the club. In the next scene, Yamada prisons San in the club room and threatens the students that the rumor about the flyers was a lie. She gets angry and wants to leave, but Yamada forcibly stops and kisses her. Now their bodies switches, and he runs to the school and starts airing the rumor was all a lie in the school. But everyone already knew it. They say we believe the rumor was a lie. because you always spread false news. Yamada gets surprised and happily moves to the club room to switch bodies, but San was missing. He freaks out, rushes to Miyamura and Shiraishi, and tells the whole thing. He asks that if the rumors were fake, why did everyone ignore Shiraishi in the class back then? She tells them that I ask everyone not to talk to me because I was preparing for a test. Yamada and Miyamura get stunned because that was the reason why Yamada decided to do all this. Now Yamada is trying to figure out the whole situation. He rushes to find San and stops her from telling the truth to anybody in the school. But he didn't see her. Instead, they found her phone in San's uniform pocket. Yamada held it and read the last 2 emails. The emails were of some bad boy who was calling her at park at 5 p.m. today to bring money for the sold items. San bought the rocks and some other mysterious things from these boys to become popular in the school. They all reaches the park where San and Yamada's body was lying on the ground unconsciously, and the boys were making fun of her. Yamada gets there and blows them with his popular flips and kicks, and they freaks out to see San so powerful. They run and San was now aware of Yamada's truth. They all forbid her to leave the group and secretly work with them. She gets so excited and throws Shiraishi onto Yamada. They accidentally kisses, and their bodies exchanges. Yamada gets furious and starts shouting. Miyamura asks him to exchange body with him to develop his latent abilities and for research purposes. He agrees and kisses Miyamura. San laughs because the 2 guys were kissing. They all switches to each other's bodies to check Yamada's powers. The scene switches to the student council, where a man proposes to Miyamura as the next president, but Otajiri standing nearby gets jealous and leaves. In the next scene, San proposes to demand funds for their supernatural club, but Yamada is not interested. But when tell about a new microwave, he gets pleased that he can get fresh hot food at noon. He decides to talk to the student council president, but he ignored them and proposed a condition. If they make Shiraishi agree to go to college after school, their funds would be generated. The president wants Shiraishi to move to college for the school's reputation. Miyamura says that the president takes girls seriously and ignores boys, so they switches their bodies with Shiraishi and San in return. The president already knew their truth and instantly recognized Miyamura and Yamada. They come back and talks to Shiraishi and talks about joining college, but she refused. The following scene switches to Shiraishi and Yamada, where she switches her body and leaves, and Yamada gets sick. Shiraishi changes because she wants to take classes and do not want to leave due to sickness. Miyamura flirts with Yamada and offers him a hug to keep him warm, but Yamada throws him away. Miyamura then proposes to go to Shiraishi's home to take some rest. They find a cute photo album, and Yamada slept on Shiraishi's bed. When she come back from school get angry. They argue, but Shiraishi apologizes for giving her sick body to Yamada. Yamada shows care for her, put a cold cloth on her forehead, and convince her for college. In the next scene, Miyamura tells the student council president that Shiraishi is ready to go to college, and he gets surprised. The next day the school is going on a camping trip, and Shiraishi and Yamada are joining them. Shiraishi switches her bodies so that she could study and Yamada can enjoy with the girls during the trip. Everyone gets surprised that Shiraishi had never joined them before. Meanwhile, Yamada get motion sickness and his body weakened till reach. He feels terrible, but Yamada was enjoying the trip till the monstrous girls takes him on a scary and long walk. After a walk, they take a big lunch, eat a lot and then join him for a bath. Yamada wants to get his body back. Shiraishi is studying, and then she disappears, so he forcefully joined them in all the activities. At night Yamada was at Shiraishi's bed and thinking about the whole day, when he found out that Shiraishi had never entered such trips before, and he went to Shiraishi to exchange bodies. He switches and asks her to enjoy the journey in her way instead of studying all the time. Now Nin shows Yamada some pictures of Shiraishi's panties and warns him to stop Shiraishi from taking the national mock test. If not, she would like to viral these. Yamada gets scared and runs to Miyamura and San for a solution, but they could not do anything. He calls Nin in an emergency and insists on kissing her, because he wants her to know the reality. She agrees to kiss by saying, "Don't blame me after," but their bodies does not switch. Yamada tells Miyamura and San about his lost power, and they kiss him to verify. But their bodies do not exchange either. Now Yamada is sad. Shiraishi comes and seems very happy. She enjoys the trip as she took Yamada's advice seriously and brought yakisoba for him. She wishes for a future trip for Supernatural Club members and leaves with the girls to enjoy the party. The next scene switches to school, where Shiraishi is absent from a mock test. Yamada is wondering whether Nin would delete the photo or not. He enters the clubroom where Miyamura and San offers him their lunch with lots of love. It is concluded that Yamada's power is now turned into attracting someone towards him instead of switching bodies. Yamada says to keep it hidden from Shiraishi until the matter is resolved. He thinks Nin has something done with his powers. He opens the gate and Shiraishi was standing there. She wants to kiss him to exchange bodies, but he resists and runs to find Nin to regain his power. He could not find her, instead finds some students holding some weird stuff and run after seeing Yamada. However, they drops a secret book containing a list of grading. On the other hand, Nin has completely fallen in love with Yamada, and her boyfriend, Ushia, gets to know the truth. So he comes to fight Yamada because he thinks that he has done something to Nin. Here Shiraishi thinks that Yamada has gone sick of kissing her, that's why he is refusing. But Yamada tells her the absolute truth. Shiraishi asks him to kiss her and was satisfied with falling in love with him. Shiraishi thinks about all that was happening and concluded that Yamada's power was to copy others. He kisses Shiraishi and copies her power of exchanging bodies, and then kisses Nin and copied her power of make them fall in love with him. Ushia listens to all their talk and begs Yamada to bring Nin normal, because he loves her so much. Yamada remembers Ushia was the one who was his friend. One day he ended up in a fight with some random boys, and Yamada helped him. But after the fight, Ushia told everyone that Yamada was the only one who fought. As a result, everyone ended up hating Yamada in school. Now Yamada kisses Nin, and her love for Yamada ends. They find a book volume 1, through which they find that some other supernatural powers called 7 witches exist in the school. So they curiously search for them. San offers Ushia and Nin to join, but they refuse. Now they go on a summer vacation, but Yamada had to clear his test, and everyone was enjoying the beach. He furiously comes back, he switches the bodies with Shiraishi, and asks her to cover the exams. In the class, Shiraishi solves all the examples, and everyone gets amazed. Otsuka was another girl in the classroom who acts weird and kisses Shiraishi forcefully. Shiraishi comes back and discusses the whole thing. Yamada had known her since last year, because she always failed and repeated the same subjects every year. They concludes that Otsuka is a witch and has some powers. Next day Yamada gets 0, as the Shiraishi's power of switching bodies was expelled. Because if 2 witches kisses, their powers will get cancelled. Yamada notices the strange behavior of Otsuka in the class, but couldn't understand. Now they conclude that Otsuka's power is telepathy to communicate through images. That was the trick to pass the exam, so they could pass the summer exam, and the door for the supernatural club could open the room, where the key is to find other powers of witches. Yamada, Miyamura, and Otsuka's group get telepathy power, and the class clears the exam using this. They find the key for volume 2 of the witch's book, but cannot find it, because they had cleaned the whole room before, and thrown all the books in the trash. Powers are attributed to only those deprived of them. Shiraishi lacks to exchange feelings in the beginning, Nin lacks charm, and Otsuka lacks to communicate with anyone. So they get exchanging, charming, and telepathy powers, while Yamada got the power to copy. He knows about the next witch, Sarashima. They go to her house, and she tells them about her power to predict the future. She was a shut-in, because she thinks she was responsible for the fire in the old school building. That's why she hid in the house, stopped going to school, and was hoping to save the school by avoiding it. Yamada asks to kiss her and transfer her power. She then kisses and they come back. It is also concluded that through this power, he could see not only his future, but also the future of his partner. Yamada thinks that Sarashima has seen her partner during the fire, but she didn't recognize him and he is the real culprit behind the fire. Yamada asks about the one whom Sarashima had kissed before. She tells the name and reaches out to the boy Tsubaki. He is the one from the school, and he likes Shiraishi till back, but she always ignored him. He begs Yamada to take Shiraishi to the ground tomorrow. Yamada sees Tsubaki cooking in the school building, which results in a massive fire. He switches bodies with Shiraishi, reaches there the following day, and takes Tsubaki away from school, so the fire could not start. Yamada takes Tsubaki to the shopping mall, so the time for fire, which is 8:03, could pass. Meanwhile, Shiraishi reaches and kisses Yamada in front of anyone. At this, Tsubaki gets furious that they betrayed him, and did not tell the truth that they were in a relationship. He rushes to the same school building, but Yamada somehow manages to stop the fire. He tells Tsubaki the whole truth and he decides to join the group. Sarashima tells Yamada that Shiraishi had switched bodies before, because she did not want him to be in trouble with fire. Nin and Ushia challenge them that they would find the witches before anyone and win. Now Miyamura tells about a group, whose leader is a witch named Noa Takagawa. She orders the other 3 to do bad things in the school, as she wanted to expel all other witches from making a new set of witches and rule the school. She tries to kiss Yamada when she heard about the supernatural club and the witch's name from Yamada's, but he refuses and asks her to leave. She finds out that Shiraishi was a witch, so she built a trap to catch Shiraishi, but Yamada turned her out. Instead, the supernatural club hostages the 3 Takagawa group members and switches their bodies with them. Takagawa recognizes them and put a condition that if you leave those 3 members, then I would give you volume 2 of the Legends of Witches. But Yamada refuses and demands to stop her bad behavior and not harm the other witches. She refuses initially, but she finally decided and the 4 of them reunited. In the next scene, Yamada asks Takagawa about her power. She then kisses him and he learns that her power is to see traumatic experiences of the past again and again. The other 3 members are also suffering from this. Takagawa needs to help them but couldn't do a single thing. Yamada agrees to help her, but the 3 group members instantly attacked him. In return, Yamada stops the fight and advises them to keep Takagawa happy. Now Takagawa falls in love with Yamada and insists on taking him to her house. She has another power of transferring charm, so when she kisses him the power is exchanged. After some time everyone celebrates the cultural festival. Yamada is the future teller here by kissing. They earn a lot from this when Yamada kisses Ushia, and his future telling is proved right. Sarashima wishes to eradicate her power of seeing the future, so that she could live happily, and Yamada decides to help her. He moves to a boy named Tamaki. He has the power to kill witches and he asks for a favor. Tamaki puts a condition that if he helped me find the next student council president, he then would help him remove the powers. Yamada cannot help Sarashima because Tamaki had a witch with the power of invisibility, which means he would be invisible in front of the one he kisses. So if Tamaki's power is eradicated, a new witch would be born. So the supernatural club would have to find 2 more witches. On the other hand, Yamada finds out that the president's secretary owns the power of invisibility, but the president didn't decide about the next president yet. Everyone go for to hunt the 7th witch but in vain. Yamada sees the future that Tamaki would be the president and Shiraishi would be the secretary. He leaves the club, which was heartbreaking for Yamada. Later Miyamura tells them about his dropout sister, who could know the name of the 7th witch. Yamada switches body with Shiraishi and insists on telling him the name, but his sister refuses and informs him about the consequences. Yamada tells her that I am willing to bear all the consequences. She says that his memories related to all witches would be erased, but he agrees. He get to know the 7th witch's name is Seonji Rika. He directly go to the president and tells him the name. In return, the president says that Miyamura would be the next president. Now he is waiting for his memory to get erased, but his memory does not erase. Instead, the memory of Yamada from all of the other club members is erased. He gets so heartbroken, but nothing could happen now. In the classroom, Shiraishi asks Yamada why he had come into the clubroom, but he does not tell her anything and accepts that she did not know him. He asks for a date, but she refuses, so Yamada freaks out and furiously oaths to restore the memories of the supernatural group. Tamaki arrives and tells him that we were on the same page. Our memories didn't fade away because we were exceptional. Tamaki asks to kiss Nin to get his charm power and then apply it to Shiraishi. He kisses her, but Shiraishi sees him kissing and thinks of him as decisive. Now Yamada tries to convince Shiraishi, but she stops him and tells him that she loves Miyamura. In all club members' memory, Yamada has been replaced with Miyamura. Yamada tries hard to get their memories back. He kisses Miyamura but got in trouble. Miyamura gets so flirtatious and kisses back to eradicate the power of charm. On the other hand, Nin kisses Ushia to free him of her power of charm, and confesses her love for Yamada. But he stops her, and Tamaki gets furious that he should be the next president, but decides to help Yamada. They conclude that they had to collect all 7 witches at the ritual place, and their memories would be restored. Yamada kisses all 6 witches, but the 7th one was too dangerous and could not be handled easily. On the other hand, Nin gets the offer to get her love if she stops Yamada from gathering all 7 witches. But she sacrifices her love for Yamada's happiness. She thinks that Yamada loves Shiraishi and he should get her. Nin begs for help from the 7th witch and asks about her reality, but she refuses to tell anything and does not help either. The president plays a game with Yamada and sent his secretary as Shiraishi. Secretary asks Yamada to kiss her, but Yamada understands that she was not Shiraishi and moves to the president. He threatens to move out of all this, but Yamada gets furious and challenges him to find Shiraishi at any cost. The president tells him that Shiraishi has been expelled, and only the president and club members can meet her. Yamada and his friends reaches Miyamura's sister. They ask for the solution, and she tells them to be vigilant, as it is the president's trick to call Tamaki and all witches in one place. They go to the 7th witch and try to make her against the president. The sister tells them the truth that in the past, she and the president were real friends. But when the president got to know the 7th witch, his memories got erased, and I also wants to remove my painful memories related to the president. Miyamura's sister meets the 7th witch and is about to remove her memories, but she stops and wishes to meet the president one last time. The president does not recognize her, instead feels strange feelings for her. On the other hand, Yamada brings Shiraishi back from the secretary's house, and their bodies switches to the original. The president surrenders and asks everyone to perform the ritual. The 7th witch was the president's dear friend, so she also decides to help Yamada. She kisses him to transfer all his abilities to him, and also asks him to make a wish. All 7 witches perform the ritual and time froze. After some time, they all got their memories back. The scene switches to the club room, where Yamada is warmly welcomed, and they throw a party for his entry into the group again. They all are delighted. Suddenly the president comes and asks for the Yamada's wish, which he made during the ritual. Yamada says that he wished to eradicate the power of all witches, so that everyone could live happily ever after. In the last scene, Yamada and Shiraishi are standing on the rooftop. They confess their love and kiss to verify whether their powers have been eradicated or not. But their powers have been removed and they live happily. After this episode ends, please like this video, subscribe to Annie Summary, and set the notification on all for more anime recaps.